Mathematics 1, Chapter Functions. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to develop competency in function, inverse and composite function. Tutorial question 5. The function f and g are defined as below. Do take note that the domain of f includes all real number and the domain of g includes all real number. Express gf in terms of x and state its domain and range. Let's start to find the composite function g(f(x). f(x) is the inside function, so the first job you need to do is replace the expression of f(x). Now you will obtain g in bracket 2x plus 2. Please make sure to expand your f(x) accordingly. Now how to find g2x plus 2? Let's look into your gx expression. Gx equivalents to x squared minus 9. What happens if I have g3x? Very simple. You simply need to replace or to substitute your x as 3x. The rest will follow the same thing. So in the case of here, you will obtain the expression gx in bracket power of 2 minus 9. Implement this example into the given questions. So you have g2x plus 2. Remember, you just simply need to replace your x now to be 2x plus 2. Yes, correct. That is your composite function. If you would like to expand your bracket, you will obtain 4x squared plus 8x minus 5 as the composite function gf. Let's go towards the next question. State the domain and range for the composite function. What is the domain and range? Yes, the domain of a function is basically the value of x where it is valid. Meanwhile, range is the respective value of y where it is valid. Now, let's look into the definition of composite functions. Let's say you have one set of elements mapped to the other one element. You only involve one relations. Let's say this is f. Now, let's refer back to the question here. You have the domain of f given as x real number. This is the domain of f. Now, what about the range of f(x)? Very simple. This is a linear function. So, if let's say your x value valid for all negative infinity until positive infinity, then your y-axis also will valid from negative infinity to positive infinity. So basically, this is the domain of f and this is the range of f. Now, let's look into G relation. G relation is also a relation from one set of elements towards the other set of elements. We call this relation Fg. Now look into the domain of G here. The domain of G covered all real number. This is the domain of G. Now, let's look into the range of G. Gx is a quadratic function. You are all aware that quadratic can only have U shape or N shape. In the case of here, it will be a U shape as your A is positive value. Now, let's look into the x-axis. If you notice right, your U shape will continue to increase and will cover mostly all value of x. So that's why the domain of G covered all real number. But what happens towards your y? Does it cover all negative value of y up until negative value of y? The answer is no. Why? Because you have the minimum value. So your curve of g will start with the minimum value up until positive infinity. So based on here, we know our range values start from the minimum value of y. Let's try to use a shorter way in finding the minimum. Let's try to find the axis of symmetry by using the formula of negative b over 2a. In the case of here, your b is 0, so automatically your x is 0. Then you obtain your y by substituting the value of 0 inside the x. 0 square minus 9, you will still got negative 9. Meaning, your range will start at negative 9 and increase towards infinity. Hence, how to write it? You will have a gx, where the gx range will start from negative 9 and increase towards infinity. This is the range of g. Once we find one by ones, let's try to look into the composite function domain and range. All of you are aware that the gfx is being produced by the composite starting from f relation mapped towards g relation. It will be slightly opposite. This is the gfx. Hence, you know that the domain of gfx, is basically the domain of f. How about the range of gfx? The range of gfx will be equivalent to the range of g. Hence, you will obtain the following result. The domain of f is been written as x, includes all real number. The range of g we have obtained, meaning the range of gfx is equivalent to its range of g. So this is the solution for A.